And folks, listen closely, because we are going to outline the way in which we, the masses, the conservatives, we fight back through the power of our voices, and we engage in a manner that preserves those rights we've taken for granted. So first up, Jason Rantz.
Hello, how is everybody? Before I give speeches, I like to look around and see if I see any troublemakers. Are there any troublemakers? I'm glad you almost all said yes, because the fact of the matter is, you're all troublemakers. Every single person who is listening right now, who's watching this stream, who's sitting here in Dallas, is a troublemaker because you have decided that you are going to stand up, you are going to push back against the folks on the left who have an insidious strategy of trying to silence people like us because we happen to say things they don't like. You are using your First Amendment rights. You are standing in front of this strategy to cancel, to get you to be fired, to bully you into silence. They do it with threats of violence. Sometimes they do it with actual violence, as I witnessed in Antifistan of Seattle. Sometimes they do it by word policing. It used to be that the only word policing that impacted me was when I would send out a tweet and my iPhone would autocorrect it when I call Brian Stelter an insufferable duck, which is not the word I meant. However, I am grateful because it keeps me from getting fired. But unfortunately, right now, we have too many progressives, too many activists, too many socialists who are trying to stop us from speaking. And they've got Democratic politicians on their side. They're comfortable in their echo chamber. And as a result of that, when we speak up and we say, whoa, 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 these policies aren't really helping us, they don't listen, they don't want to. And they don't understand what they're doing to this country. I was given a quote back in 2004, and it stuck with me. And it was, imagine the power to censor in the hands of your worst enemy. Think about that. Imagine the power to censor in the hands of your worst enemy. Unfortunately, we don't have to imagine that right now because we're very clearly going down that pathway. And it comes in many different forms. They call everything and everyone a racist or a white supremacist, including the Jews, including black people and Asian people and Latino who dare to think for themselves. They tell us that they're engaged in mostly peaceful protests where buildings are being burnt to the ground and people are literally getting killed. They do this as an intimidation tactic to shut us up, to stop us from speaking up. They tell you that there are words you cannot use. Can't do it. And they do this because they want to legitimize their issues, their positions. In the city of Portland, for example, they changed the charter to get all to gender-neutral language. You've got birthing people. Why do you think they do that? They're changing the debate by changing the language. They are trying to stop us from having honest conversations. But let's be clear. They're not only doing the overt stuff, the stuff that's very obvious to us. They're doing something else. See, it takes a lot of energy to silence people, and they'll continue to do it, and they're going to continue to try to do it to us, although I'm told they can't cancel CPAC in Dallas. They're now doing something else. Who are the types of people you cannot silence? People who agree with you. And so what they're doing right now with critical race theory is getting in front of kids, indoctrinating them, creating mini activists who become adult activists who don't have to silence any of us because we're going to lose out on the battle because we've got a next generation of kids who are being taught to hate this country and to pursue all of the policies that folks on the left want us to take. Children are vulnerable, and they're being taken advantage of in our schools. But one thing that's been working, and I hope you understand this, parents getting together, showing up to meetings, speaking up, and saying, no, 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 no. You are not doing that in our classrooms. And the takeaway from that is that you have so much more power than you are sometimes willing to admit. So I'm going to give you very quickly 3 things that you can do the second that CPAC is over. And I promise you that these are going to be really, really, really easy. Because for too many people, after you get done here, you've made some friends, you met some new people, and you felt like you're part of a club. And then you go home, and you don't talk to anybody else. You talk to strangers here, but not back home. So number 1, I want you to talk to people in real life. Talk to your neighbors. Understand that they are on your side, and they will fight along with you to make sure that we're passing policies that make sense and push back against the nonsense that doesn't. Get off Twitter for a bit. Well, add me on Twitter first, Jason Rantz, R-A-N-T-Z. And then get off Twitter and engage in actual conversations. Number 2, you need to amplify the voices that are saying the things that you want to get in front of more people. You understand that the media is making it very, very difficult for conservative thought to get out there. So do your part. I'm giving you the permission to get back on Twitter for a moment, and put out all of that information, all of those voices. And then number 3, you're going to be a troublemaker. Every single person here needs to be a troublemaker. You're going to speak up, you're going to speak clearly, you're going to stay civil, but you're going to be passionate about all the things that we care about, because there is so much on the line. That is why they try to silence us. The enemy of cancel culture is free speech. And that is the tool that we have to overcome this. The more you speak up, the more you get united, the more battles we win, because the people are on our side. And the only way they win is by shutting us up. So, one more time, who here is a troublemaker? I said with passion. Who here's a troublemaker? There you go. Thank you guys so much. I'm Jason Rantz.